If nothing works for helping you with chronic back pain, you probably haven't tried journaling. And this is a weird idea, I'm aware of that, but in this video you're gonna see how it can be really effective, much more effective than painkillers or exercises or any of the common things that doctors usually recommend, and usually they don't work. By the way, if you struggle with chronic back pain for more than a few months, subscribe to this channel because you are gonna see things that I discovered personally through a lot of pain. I went through 10 years of really miserable chronic back pain. None of the things the doctors and the therapists and all of the other experts recommended worked. They were usually counterproductive, so I had to figure out a lot of the things the hard way. But the good news is I know what works now, I know the way out, I can definitely show it to you. It's actually pretty easy. And subscribe to this channel, you are gonna see what we're talking about, and you're gonna heal your chronic back pain probably sooner than you think. Now, the idea that journaling can help you with back pain is not actually new. This idea has been presented maybe a few decades ago, most notably by Dr. John Sarno. For whatever reason, the idea didn't really catch hold, like it didn't become mainstream. It was even, like, I believe, kind of ridiculed or rejected by the mainstream medical profession. But today we're seeing a rise in this idea, and for good reason. It actually works. In a lot of the cases where physical therapy and painkillers and all of the recommended usual approaches by Western medicine, when they don't work, you're going to typically find that approaches that kind of target the mind-body connection work much more effectively. And actually, this is the case for most people struggling with chronic back pain. If your back has been hurting for more than a few months, chances are there's something more than just a physical injury here. And I would bet that this is probably the case with maybe 80% of people who struggle with chronic back pain. Now, the main idea behind this concept is that chronic back pain is psychosomatic. And weirdly enough, this is even something that the Western medicine kind of accepts. You can see definitions of chronic back pain described in this way. So psychosomatic simply means there is a physical component to it, the soma. I think that's like it means the body in ancient Greek or something like that. And psycho, of course, means the mind. And this can include not just your thoughts, but also your emotions. And this is like a combined problem. That's why it's really complex and difficult to actually kind of like resolve permanently. But the major reason for this is because doctors and Western medicine mostly only address the physical part of the problem. You're going to get prescribed painkillers, maybe some therapy. All of these approaches generally target just the body. And pretty much nobody is going to talk about the other, let's say, half or even more than half, I think, of the problem, which involves your thoughts, your emotions, your background, maybe stuff you carry from before, troubled histories, challenges, obstacles from your past, maybe even childhood issues. For a lot of people, this is actually the root cause. And this is exactly what Dr. Sarno discovered. And I think this is actually what a lot of people are actually starting to discover in the last few years. I've seen this approach kind of regain steam again. And I can definitely guarantee that it hits the nail on the head, because this is what helped me heal completely. And it has helped a lot of the other people I've worked with. Usually this is what it takes. This is the final step that people need to make. Even if you get everything else right, so maybe you start doing all of these stretches, exercises, rehab, painkillers. Maybe you even fix your nutrition, which is something that I also recommend. But you're going to discover that there's still something bothering you, and your back pain doesn't leave you alone completely. This is usually a very major red flag that you should be addressing the other part of the problem here, which is the psychological and the emotional issues. And for this, I recommend starting with journaling. This was how I first started to primarily reduce the pain and then completely resolve it. And this has worked for countless other people. This is even, some doctors may even recommend this. I've seen this kind of recommended lately, which really brings joy to my heart. I think this approach is finally gonna get the attention that deserves, but you can get there first. You don't have to wait for traditional Western medicine to kind of catch up to it. You can start healing now. You only have to journal about the issues that are bothering you and just follow the threads. All you have to do is let yourself go, let all of the filters completely remove them. Don't censor yourself. Start journaling about anything. Honestly, anything that's causing you to that's kind of tormenting you, that's weighing you down. Just start maybe writing with a pen or a paper. I think that's actually the best way. but maybe you can also type if that's what you prefer. In any case, you have to explore all of the pain, all of the negative emotions, experiences, maybe childhood stuff, maybe people that have caused you harm, or maybe people that you have harmed. Like, if you explore this in depth, and this can usually take, honestly, like maybe a few weeks even. It actually took me like several different sessions of several weeks, and you're gonna uncover a lot of issues. Just keep digging, just follow like the threads. You're gonna see where it takes you, and you're usually gonna end up at, I think usually it's one core problem. Maybe it's gonna be a handful for some people. But if you had like maybe a troubled childhood, maybe you've had like adverse experiences, you're gonna quickly discover like what's, let's say, your primary like negative emotion. And for a lot of people, just discovering this can completely resolve their back pain. Just becoming aware, like, and honestly, like even accepting the idea that, okay, there is something to this mind body connection. So if I just like kind of become aware of this problem, back pain may completely go away. For others, this is actually just the beginning, and you're probably gonna benefit a lot more by actually resolving these issues and kind of like letting them go in a really like more like a physical bodily way. And we're gonna talk about this in other videos. I actually talk a lot about this in my free book about chronic back pain. If you're interested in these approaches, definitely check it out. The link to it is gonna be in the pinned comment or description. My course on back pain also goes into exact detail on how to do this, how to finally release chronic back pain. So check out the links in the pinned comment or description. They're going to show you the way. The next video is going to get into a lot more detail about what you should do after the journaling. So I kind of think that it's best to go to start with kind of like the journaling and becoming aware of what's bothering you. But then once you're aware of the issues, you should let them go. You should release the problems. Otherwise, they're gonna keep like torturing you and tormenting you. And I think this is one of the major mistakes and errors that modern psychotherapy makes. They kind of uncover all of these issues, and then they do nothing to let them go and resolve them. And that's the key part. That's the second part that you kind of have to go for a lot of people, not for everybody, but a lot of people actually have to actively resolve the issues. The next video is gonna show you how. I will see you there, and until next time, be brave.